So grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
It's Mama Love in northern Minnesota. You know, a collective voice is much louder than a single voice. Thanks, Rav, for giving us a place to chat and connect. See y'all in chat.
Royce White is speaking truth to power.
We will not give up a single rank guaranteed under the Constitution.
You know I'm always going to talk about the real things. Okay. Free the Uyghurs.
If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you.
Let me be your shield, let me be your shield.
What's wrong in this country is our sense of American citizenship is lost. It's lost in convenience.
Let me be your shield, let me be
Convenience will be the death of freedom. This is my show. And on my show, I control the conversation.
Good morning and welcome back to the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice, the home of the ultra mega movement. This is your guest host, David Penn, coming to you from the studios of Free People Radio here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is the epicenter of worldwide communism here in Minnesota. This is ground zero that we broadcast from. And I'm blessed today to be with you. Royce is out on an assignment, and guess what that assignment is? That would be to become the next U.S. Senator from the great state of Minnesota. Wouldn't that be a scream? To put that voice you listen to every Saturday morning here on Real America's Voice into the center of the Senate well. Man, Royce would have a full-time job calling out the bullshit in that house, excuse me. I just say that because they call themselves our leaders. That right off the bat is not correct. They're our representatives. But since we don't show up, they work for the people who do show up. And guess who that is? Well, that'd be the people that got the cash. That's right. All the money's flowing uphill, and I'm not going to swear again. You know what's coming downhill. So glad to be with you here. Just 1 week ago today, just 1 week ago today, it was our beloved country's 250th anniversary. 1 week has passed, and it's out of the news cycle. Forgot about it. I haven't. I am so eternally blessed and so grateful that my grandfather, a man of faith, a man of dignity, a man of integrity, who could have chose to take the Rothschild money and boogie on off to Palestine, as some of his family members did, you know, socialists, communists, because that's what Israel really is at its root. At its root back in 48, it was a socialist state, Marxist. No, he didn't want nothing to do with them non-believers. He came to the United States of America. You know how he got here? Well, in those days, you couldn't just walk across the border because we had a border. No, he went to England for 5 years where he became a British citizen, teaching in a high school. And then after much hard work, much labor, much effort, he immigrated to the United States legally to enjoy the freedoms that we have in this country, that being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness granted to us by a creator, economic self-determination, religious freedom, freedom of speech. I am so grateful that my grandfather came to this country. This country is so magnificent. The ideas that underlie the United States of America are so unparalleled in the annals of history, in the comparison of country. Those ideas are still here. No, we know in this audience, I mean, I know we're a community. We know what we're dealing with here. We know that the ideas that gave birth to this country have been perverted, demoralized, denaturalized, dehumanized. We know it, and we're starting to see it more and more clearly. You know, over the course of my adult lifetime, I knew it from a very young age, but man, life was good. Life was great. Man, I owned my own car. I had a mortgage on a house. I had a family, kids, a job, flat screen TVs in the house. Food was plentiful. Life was good. I didn't realize how I was trading away my freedom for the convenience of modern living, as Royce so aptly uses as a chorus at the beginning of this show, trading away our freedom for convenience and safety. I didn't realize that I was doing that. And I'm going to tell you something. In my opinion, we really didn't have to trade away our freedom for convenience and safety. We didn't have to. Of course the world is the way we want it. Of course we want the conveniences and safety of modern life. We have created this world together. We, the American citizens, have created this beautiful country together. We've made these choices together. My salvation is my own, but the formation of our political economy, the formation of how our country works, that's our joint mutual decision. And here's what we missed. We took the benefits, we didn't assess the costs, and why have the costs gotten so high? Because they don't have to be my freedom. No, all of this technology, all of this wealth, all of this abundance, all of these blessings of the Lord that have poured in upon this country could be for my benefit, for the benefit of my children, for your benefit. And what did we do? We got lazy. We stopped participating. We were drinking the Kool-Aid that voting once every 2 years was our civic duty. And what we missed was that the graduates of our most elite academic institutions were taught by Europeans who brought with them the evils of the European system: Marxism, scientism, you name the ism, fascism, Nazism, communism. That's the European model. That's the colonial model. That's the European system. The extraction system, the enslavement system. No, we live in the American system. That's what our forefathers gave us, founded on telling the truth, the search for truth. And why is that? Because I owe my rights, not to man, but to a creator. And is not the creator the truth and the way and the light? That's what makes this country so different. But we turned over our intellectual institutions, our elite academic institutions, to European trained scholars because we wanted to catch up. We wanted to catch up. We were behind. We were behind. You know, we were a new country. We needed the help of the Europeans in science and technology. Yes, we imported their best and brightest scholars to populate our Columbia University, Harvard University, Princeton University, Yale University, Rutgers University, university here, university there, university everywhere. And we, the parents, we sent our kids lovingly, so they could have good lives. We sent them off to be indoctrinated by people that really hate the American system. They hate the idea that you and I are kings and queens of our own lives. They hate the idea that we are the sovereigns, that our system was set up precisely to overturn the European colonial system. We fought a revolutionary war to get divorced from these people, and then downstream, we gave them all jobs. Isn't that great? And they taught our kids to hate me. And they hate you, if that's been your misfortune. But is it really misfortune when you read Matthew 10:34, that the enemies that you shall face will be those of your own household? Maybe you're doing something correctly. Yeah, we don't think about it that way, do we? Oh, things broke down. Oh, it's terrible. It's all my fault. You know, if you have principles, if you believe in Christ, if you believe in God, if you believe in sacred honor, if you believe in the Republic of the United States of America, and you have a brother or a sister or a parent or a kid that for whatever reason, for whatever misfortune befell them, they became Marxists, and they argue with you, oh, dad, this, oh, dad, that, oh, mom, this, oh, mom, dad, oh, you guys, and then it breaks, and you feel so wrought in your spirit. I'm going to tell you, take heart, because you're a person of principle. We have to stand on the principles that made this country great, the American system. We have to stand up and we have to tell that story to our friends and our neighbors, to our co-workers, our parents and our children. This is the time of choosing. It's right now. I'm not saying the next election is the most important or not the most important. Every election is the most important. I'm saying it's the time of choosing what kind of system are we going to have here. Are we going to restore the American system that our founding fathers gave us that make you and I the kings and queens of our own lives? Or are we going to submit to the globalists in the European system and become inventory that they intend to monetize from my birth to my death? Am I a child of God or am I a stock-keeping unit? That is the choice we have to make. It is a time for choosing. Am I inventory, or am I a child of God? Do I serve God or do I serve mammon? Now is the time to choose. And when we come back after this break from Patriot Economy advertisers who we need to support, we'll get more deeply into how you and I might come together as a community to restore the American system and to keep our relationship with the Most High God. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Getting hard is not the same thing as being turned on.
That is why Blue Chew Gold was created.
The world is full of fables, from Big Pharma's lies to gender confusion, atheism, and the fake news media. Enough is enough. From Real America's Music comes the powerful new single, Fables by DVS 7.0 and Brett Rayo. This bold anthem exposes the lies of the enemy while pointing people to the life-changing truth of Jesus Christ. Pre-save Fables right now by scanning the QR code on your screen or search Fables on iTunes. Let's make this song number one.
No playing games, get off the fence. Let the truth change your countenance. Freedom from chains and bondages that had you a slave too long. Yeah, the trials that seem mountainous, but in Christ I put my confidence. With a little faith you can move continents. Keep your mind on heaven and truth prominent. Hey, yeah.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
It's Mama Love in northern Minnesota. You know, a collective voice is much louder than a single voice. Thanks, Rav, for giving us a place to chat and connect. See y'all in chat.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice, the home of the Ultra Mega Movement. This is David Penn, guest hosting today for Royce, who's out on the campaign trail, seeking to be our representative here in Minnesota into that corrupt body, the U.S. Senate. We'd like to have that voice in there, wouldn't we? You can go to roycewhite.us and learn all about that campaign. We would really like to have somebody that's got the stones to stand up to the BS that goes on in Washington. Boy, would that be great. You got to start somewhere. Why not start right here in Minnesota on August 11th? We got a primary coming up. Dateline before we get into what we can do. This is the time for choosing. I'll tell you who's got a choice today. That'd be the Iranians. Oh, they got a choice. President Trump. President Trump, man. This guy. How'd you like to wake up in the morning and have to deal with President Trump as an antagonist? Whoa. He doesn't give any ground. I get a kick out of it. Saturday, today, the U.S. has informed Iran they got to make a choice. They got to make a decision and live with their decision. Open the strait or else. And why not? We're on the verge of a worldwide economic calamity over the interruption of the flow of important raw materials and refined products around the world, the lifeblood of the world economy. Yes, that's the lifeblood of the world economy. The lifeblood of the world economy, oil. The worldwide market for oil is $10 trillion a year, and 30% of it flows through a strait 21 miles wide. That's a present to us from the British colonial system. They set up that infamia. I don't know if they knew what they were doing or not. They were just so eager to get the money. They said, what's the fastest, cheapest way to rape these people? And they took it. And they go, well, what has that got to do with today? What has it got? What do you mean the British system? What do you mean the European colonial system? The worldwide demand for physical oil is $10 trillion a year. The worldwide demand for paper derivatives around oil, in other words, hedge contracts to control the price, is $110 trillion a year, over 10 times. And 50% of that action goes down right in the city of London. Can you imagine the money that gets made on that? And do you think those people care if my son or my daughter gets killed? Because what they want is price instability. What they want is inflation. What is inflation? It's a way to take the money out of my pocket and give it to somebody else. I'm not the beneficiary of the European system. I'm not the beneficiary at all. I am the victim thereof. I am a stock-keeping unit for these people. But we've got this glorious American system, or with the vestiges of what's left of it, because our elections are not secure. Because our people have given up their self-governance for safety and convenience, and they don't care. And I lay awake at night, so many nights, trying to figure out how I can motivate the audience. We have a big audience here at Free People Radio. Royce and I do a show every morning, 7 to 9 a.m., Central Standard Time. You go over to Rumble, you find the Free People Radio channel on Rumble, you join, you watch. It's a call-in show. We have a big audience, and we really are blessed to have that audience. And every night I lay in bed almost every night thinking, How can I move people from passivity to activity? That's what I did in my life. I was, an observer. I talked about politics. It was a psychological venting process for me, but I wasn't doing the deal. And then I saw that 2020 election and I flipped out because I knew that was a scam. And I got involved in the Republican Party in Minnesota. And then I realized that's a scam. Let me tell you how big a scam it is. We just had a convention up here, which Royce was not endorsed. The party spent all its energy to make sure that a young, strong, vibrant, brilliant human being that could represent the people of Minnesota had no chance of making it through the process. They rigged the game. They rigged it. They rigged it. They robbed him. And now the presumptive frontrunner is a name many of us know. I remember when she popped up on the scene. I was a young man, Michelle Tafoya. The empty blouse on the sideline. The script reader, kind of like a crypt keeper, just not quite yet. And she's getting awful long in the tooth, too. I saw a picture of her today that scared me. She's old. She's moldy. She's a Zionist. She's pro-abortion. She's pro-immigration. But no, she changed all that now just in time to get the backing of the National Republican Senatorial Committee and its real leader, John Thune, who refuses to bring the SAVE Act up for a vote. Pass the Genius Act. No problem. No problem. They'll give us the new digital currency regime with broad bipartisan support. But pass election integrity legislation? Oh, ha, ha, ha. You all can go bite a hog in the butt. That's how they feel about us. They believe they rule over us. And you know why they can get away with that? Because we're too passive. We're too friendly. We're too nice. We take the lies they tell us with a smile. Oh, he looks so good. I trust him so much. We've gone brain dead is what it is as a people. So what do I have to do? Well, I'm doing it. I'm talking to you. I'm doing my best every day to spread the gospel and to preach the majesty of the American system in which I am a king of my own life. And as a king, I respect your minority rights, yours. I respect it. I don't have to agree with you. We're Americans. Just don't lie to me. You know, republicanism, remember George Washington? He couldn't tell a lie. The founder of the Republican Party, honest, Abe Lincoln, honesty, integrity, sacred honor. Those were the root ideas of this party. Willing to go to war to end the scourge of slavery, which was an infamia. And what happened? What happened? Over time, we took the money. We gave up the faith. It says you can't serve God and mammon at the same time. We've made our choice as the American people. There's a handful of us that walk by faith and not by sight, but it's a mere handful. How are we going to spread this gospel of Americanism? How are we going to expand our base? We're fighting with each other tooth and nail, even on the right side of the football. They got us turned one against the other. Candidates like Tafoya, the empty blouse. Well, what can you do? You know, this primary here is coming up in Minnesota, August 11th, and in your state, there's some kind of primary coming up too. Do you know that in a midterm, off-year primary election, only 20% of the voters are going to show up? Only 20%. 20%. 80% of the people don't care enough about their freedom to even show up to vote? What kind of a demoralized situation is that? And it didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen by accident. A lot of what we go through as American citizens, why it's so awful, why it's so unbelievable is because they're just putting it in our face so that we give up, roll over, and submit to the tyranny of the European model, which is descending upon us again like a dark night. Who are the globalists? Well, I'll tell you who they are. They've been with us forever. Just like Christ said, the poor is always with us. We've always got the tyrants hiding in the shadows. It was this country that put them in the shadows during World War II. It was this country that ended the colonial enterprise all over the world, the process of decolonization. That was an American system idea. Set the captives free. Set the captives free. Come on now. And those people went into hiding for decades, looking to make their comeback step by step. Tricky. Little environmentalism here, a little environmentalism there, a tiny war here, a little anti-Semitism there. Oh, some misogyny here, some racism there. They used everything they created. They created the racism. They created the anti-Semitism. They created the misogyny. And then they blamed it on me. Boy, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that kind of skullduggery. You do it, and you blame it on me. And then I was stupid enough as a boomer to take the blame. Well, that's over. And I have to say, in part because Royce is my friend. He set me free of taking the blame for things that I'm a victim of and had nothing to do with. No, we need to stand up. We need to stand up and cast off the guilt they've put upon us and embrace the beauty of our system. And how are we going to do it? We're going to change our culture back. We're going to reject the lies. We're going to reject the crazy. We're going to realize that where we stand in principle with sacred honor is just right. It is the truth. It is the way. It is the light. And we're going to spread it. That's what I can do. First of all, I can go out and vote in these primaries. I better show up. I better make my voice heard. And I better bring as many people to those polls as I can. I don't need a political party to do that. I'm going to grab my neighbors. I'm going to grab my kids. I'm going to grab my spouse. I'm going to vote. I'm going to show up. And more important than that, because our elections are not secure, we have to change the culture. We have to change the world we live in. And you know how we do that? By talking one to another, by forming a community, by getting together person to person and talking face to face and spreading the gospel of love and truth one to another, that we may be Americans for generations to come. I'll be right back after this break.
This is sex. They're smooth as sex. Wow.
The world is full of fables, from Big Pharma's lies to gender confusion, atheism, and the fake news media. Enough is enough. From Real America's Music comes the powerful new single, Fables by DVS 7.0 and Brett Rayo. This bold anthem exposes the lies of the enemy while pointing people to the life-changing truth of Jesus Christ. Pre-save Fables right now by scanning the QR code on your screen or search Fables on iTunes. Let's make this song number one.
No playing games, get off the fence. Let the truth change your countenance. Freedom from chains and bondages that had you a slave too long. Yeah, the trials did seem mountainous, but in Christ I put my confidence. With a little faith you can move continents. Keep your mind on heaven and truth prominent. Hey, yeah.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
I'm Patriot Mermaid, and I'm from West Haven, Connecticut. When the mainstream media wasn't giving us the truth, I went and looked for the truth and found it on Real America's Voice. Come and join us. Come on.
My name is Tina, and I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm so grateful to be able to get my news from an organization like Real America's Voice, whose conservative values align with my own.
It's Mama Love in northern Minnesota. You know, a collective voice is much louder than a single voice. Thanks, Rev, for giving us a place to chat and connect. See y'all in chat.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice, the home of the Ultra Mega Movement. This is David Penn, your guest host today. Glad to be back with you. I hope you're having a beautiful Saturday. It's another blessed day. Every moment is a time for choosing. Every moment. We're in a moment now where it's kind of the big time for choosing. My choice was made in 2015. A big choice. I disconnected myself from the globalist system in 2015. I passed on a life of wealth and leisure because I knew what I was doing was wrong. I had the integrity and the personal honor to not participate in a fraud. And then I chose again in 2021, right after that awful election. I chose to get involved in the Republican Party here in Minnesota. Of course, I was quite naive about it. I thought they were Republicans. Boy, I was surprised to find out that they were leftists. But hey, at least I gave it a shot. I've had to find out for myself. I didn't take anybody's word for it. I got in the ring with those people, and I found out that they suck. Okay, great. We got a lot of Ultra Mega people here in Minnesota. Royce White is the leader here in Minnesota of the Ultra Mega movement. And I'm very pleased to work with him here at Free People Radio. Free People Radio is a media company right here in the belly of the beast. Please come every morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, over to Rumble and watch us on the Free People Radio channel, or watch it later in the day. The recordings are up there every day. We're very active in social media. Man, you want to help me? And I'm asking for your help. Please follow me on X at Prof Penn Podcast. On X at Prof Penn Podcast. Because that's where we fight for our ideas. And we need an army of people that are connected digitally that will work together to beat down the liars, beat down the communists, beat down the scumbags that come to attack people of goodwill. It can't be an army of one. Remember this thing? Did your grandmother ever say to you, many hands make light work? Remember that one? Let me try again. Many hands make light work. Where's the many hands? And if you're a young man, get your hand off of there and put it on your phone. And please follow Prof Penn Podcast on X. And I'm on Getter also at Professor Penn Podcast. And this is how we got to organize. We got to get organized. We are just still in the beginning stages of organizing. And when I say that, I mean getting organized personally. You know, this is a supernatural battle at one level of description. Yes, there's a material level. Yes, President Trump is fighting a good fight to extricate the American system from the European colonial model, which has a grip on us. That's why we're over in Iran. Do you think that was an American idea? No, we inherited a British idea. Oh, and a British set of ideas, including the creation of the nation of Israel. Go take Wikipedia, if that's a source, or if you use Grok, and look up the Balfour Declaration and how that came about. The Balfour Declaration. I know many of you know it. And if you're listening to us over here on the White House show in the morning, we talk about it. Today, our sons and daughters are in harm's way. The economic future of our country is threatened. by a system that was established by the British hundreds of years ago, a system of extraction, a system of slavery, a system of exploitation, a system where all the money goes into the coffers of the king. Now do you get why we are the American system, where I'm the king? You want to talk about giving the sovereign of England the big, the high hard one? F you? No, we're going to make every individual citizen, man and woman, the king or queen of their own lives. Suck on that, King Charles. And they sit there and act like they're all good with it. But they're actors and actresses. They know how to talk to us. If you think back, people forget the news. King Charles was just recently in our Congress addressing a joint session. And our elected, alleged representatives were clapping for the king like seals. And he's an affront. His very title is an affront to our system. And it's time to call that out. I have some friends down in town. They're from Canada. Now, the man is a brother of mine from a different mother. We have a similar background, a similar history. We understand each other. Like when you come from somebody, you grow up on the block with somebody, you know where they're coming from. And he's just recently married. He brought his new wife with, and she's a Canadian school teacher. She's an ardent liberal, a supporter of the Democrat liberal order. She loves Mark Carney, the banker, the international banker who is now the Prime Minister of Canada. And I looked at her and I said, I don't mean you any harm. I don't want to have a fight. I'm just going to tell you what's going on because I don't think you know. The sovereign of your country is King Charles, right? And she looked at me and she said, well, I didn't really think about it that way. I said, well, let's think about it. Ultimately, at the bottom line, isn't the sovereign of your country a king? And she didn't like that very much. I said, look, it's really not personal. We're extricating ourselves from the empire. That's what President Trump's about here now. That's what the MAGA movement's about, with all of our divisions and all of our flaws and all of our self-hatreds and all of our internal divisions. Man, if you don't want to get free empire, you're not part of the MAGA movement. And you go, oh, what's President Trump doing? I know there's a lot of blowback on President Trump, but I'm going to tell you what. I don't know what pressures he's facing when he sits down with these globalists that surround him in the Oval Office. I don't know what kind of workarounds he's got to do. I know he's dealing with the region that was set up by the British, and they set it up in a way that made brother hate brother, made tribe hate tribe, pitted one group against another so that they could extract that oil for pennies on the dollar with a very limited amount of investment in resource or manpower. That's why those boats are traveling through a 21-mile choke point, maritime choke point. And you know what? They're not there anymore. They handed the baton to us, and we were stupid enough to take it. Because guess what? We're a very young country. 250 years old. Sounds like a long time, right? We are children in the country game. Those Jews go back 5,000 years. And how about those Chinese? They're going back 5,000 years. And those British go back thousands of years. And they look at us like young and dumb. Let's figure out how we can use these people. And when President Trump was talking about China, he used to say, I don't blame the Chinese. I blame our leaders. You know who I blame? I blame the people. Because we put these degenerates into power by not paying attention, by believing their lies. And we knew they were lying to us. And why did we believe their lies? Hey, because, the kitchen's full of fresh food. There's electricity in the house. The air conditioning's working. The television's on. There's gas in the car. Life's pretty darn good. So you go ahead and lie to me. Use me. As long as I have my creature comforts. And that's just not working for us in the MAGA movement. It's just not working for me personally. Because at the base of all this acceptance of lies is a repudiation of Christ. And I can't participate in that. I just can't do it. I will not participate in a repudiation of God. Have no other gods before me. A prudent man or woman, even not sure about what the future would hold, would play in a way that would give them some grace if, in fact, they had to face judgment. What have we done? What have we done over the course of the last 500 years, in the course of the last 250 here in the United States of America, this beautiful land? We had a culture of faith. No, I'm not saying everybody was faithful. I'm not saying everybody was good. I'm saying the core story of our culture was the creation myth of Adam and Eve. It came right out of the Bible. And while we might not have believed it on an individual basis, 200 years ago, people were questioning it. The story itself was one of creation, was one of intentionality. It had a moral message. It had something that every citizen could incorporate into themselves to guide their path. And then the British were over there, robbing and stealing, a piratical, infidel power led by a so-called Christian king. And they had to justify it because, over time they were getting more and more money. They got liberal, right? They used to just roll in and kill everybody. By the 1800s, they had to have a reason. They had to have a reason. And that reason, that lie that they told was that it wasn't God. It was the origin of the species. It was mutation. It was evolution. And we've traded out faith in God for another story. And in that story, nothing means anything, and it doesn't mean anything that doesn't mean anything. Faith for nothingness. So that the people who run that system can demoralize us, break us in spirit, break us in will, and turn us from children of God into mere stock-keeping units that they get to monetize for their own personal benefit. And we participated in that. We created it, and it's time to take it away from them. It's a time for choosing. Are you a child of God, or are you a stock-keeping unit? Are you a believer? Who do you serve? A time for choosing. Who do you want to be? Who am I going to be? Who am I going to be? Who are we going to be as American citizens? Thank you very much. We're going to have some great commercials coming up from the Patriot Economy. I'm looking forward to being right back with you after these commercial messages.
You know what nobody tells you about the assets in your IRA or 401k? For almost all Americans.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
online. And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Hi, my name's Paul Foyer. I'm 404 in the Getter Chat. I love rap for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
When the bacon wants real facts and figures, he goes to RAV. Real America's Voice, baby. That's where you get the real scoop and not the poop.
Hey y'all, it's Nancy from Texas. Real America's Voice gives us truth, not propaganda, and we need that. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Royce White Show here on Real America's Voice, the home of the Ultra Mega Movement. This is your guest host today, David Penn, coming to you from the studios of Free People Radio here in the belly of the beast, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the epicenter of worldwide communism. We need your help. Please, I want to get this in. People say, people profess, people have all kinds of reasons why they do this kind of work, this media work. I never aspired to it. I never thought I would be involved in it. And then I met Royce, and he looked at me one day and he said, man, do you know you should be podcasting? And I said, really? What's a podcast? Okay, now that was just in 2022. And so look how far I've come in just 4 years. And why did I do it? I love this country. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And when I say whatever, I mean whatever. And I certainly would prefer that you and I get together as a community and change this culture and do it with love and forgiveness and recoalesce America around Republican principles, those being I'm the king of my own life. I respect you because I respect minority rights. I participate in civic life. Look at, I'm doing it. I'm here with you. We're a community. This is civic life. And one could say just because you're here with me, you're participating, which is super cool. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting RAV, because we need your support. And then finally, we believe as Republicans in the commonwealth, not communism, a commonwealth where the rules of the game are set so that every citizen has a chance to pursue their happiness. And that's not what we have right now. Ask any young person. They call themselves the doomers because they're doomed coming out of the gate. That's not how I grew up. When I grew up, when I was that age, everything was opportunity. Everything was upside. And look what happened over the course of my lifetime. That's why I'm doing it. It's called payback. It's called I'm not walking out with the cash and leaving all the rest of you young people to fend for yourselves. That's not me. I have sacred honor. I believe in God. You know, you get in a room and you say, who here believes in Christ? Everybody sticks their hand up. And then you ask them, who here are willing to do something as God would want them to do? Oh, well, if they're honest, not that many hands go up, because that would require what? That would be called picking up your cross and bearing it. You see what it means? Now, when I say we've traded out faith for mammon and that this is a time of choosing, this oil charade is a perfect example of how this has worked over the course of time. You know, things were brutal not that long ago. I think the average life expectancy was about 35 years old. A man carried everything he needed to live his life on his belt. When people say they were self-governing, they grew their own food or they killed their own game. They cooked it. They built their own homes. They provided for their own self-defense, or they died. Now that's self-governance. That's the root of self-governance, but that's a pretty hard life. So over the course of time, we evolved. We evolved our culture. And science and technology popped up about 500 years ago, and we really took off. Look at the population exploded. Life expectancy exploded. We have so much opportunity, so many choices. But there was a cost, and the cost was we've given up that ability to take care of ourselves. We're now interdependent, and then when we started with Social Security and Medicare, we became codependent on government. An ever-expanding, ever-enlarging government that is our nanny, our parent. Most of us have lost the muscle of self-governance. We as a people must reclaim that. We must reclaim it, like around my house. My garden is full. I won't be back to the grocery store for vegetables until November. I make my own laundry detergent at home. It's not hard and it's super cheap, and I don't throw a plastic jug in the refuse pile every month. A plastic jug that'll be here 1,000 years from now. No, I'm not doing that anymore. I provide for my own self-defense. I self-govern in every way that I can. I own my own company. We have a company here called TireGet.com, TireGet.com. It's a tire company. It's an e-commerce company. It's how we fund Free People Radio, and it's a service. It's a benefit. We don't want charity. We want to give you something you can't get, a better price and better service. We're self-governing economically. Every way I can. It's an infinite process of how can I self-govern more and more? How can I inherit the rights granted to me by a creator, my life, my liberty, and my pursuit of happiness? That's a way of life. It's called the Republican way, not the Republican Party. That's been perverted by Democrats. No, the Republican way, where I'm the king and you're the queen of your own life. We're going to have to work for this in our own lives. That's fighting for freedom, implementing self-governance in your own life any way you can. Are you responsible for your own well-being? Yes, you are ultimately, whether you accept that responsibility or not. A time for choosing. This oil is so indicative of the entire scam we're living in. We're $40 trillion in debt. That's not even psychologically possible for any human being to comprehend. There's $40 trillion of BS fiat money out there. It's not real. It's not real. Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1972, and he stood up in front of all the people and he said, it won't affect the value of your currency. And I was buying gas at the time for 34 cents a gallon. You know what the difference is between then and now? The gas is the same. The combustion engine is almost the same. The difference is the inflation. That's the difference. And they did it on purpose. That's the part that we got to get through our heads. There's none of this that's an accident. Inflation is government policy. Inflation is government policy. The financialization of our economy was government policy. And we're victims. We're not educated anymore. We've given up the kind of education that is required to have an informed citizenry and a moral citizenry. But this oil thing, and I want to say this again because it really shows you the entire scam. The physical oil, the real barrels of oil, the black gold, Texas crude coming up from the bubbling ground, is a $10 trillion a year business. It's about 7% of the world economy. The paper business around that oil, which they call hedge contracts, derivatives, swaps, in other words, the unreal world, is 10 times the size of the real world. It's $110 trillion. God made that oil. Man made that paper. We had a system for thousands of years that was based on faith in God, about recognizing that I don't know everything, and that's okay. a system where I had a reason to be here, which was to be close to my Creator. In the blink of an eye that I had consciousness, that was my goal. I buried my father in the backyard. My brothers and sisters were buried right next to my mother and father. I prepared their bodies. I put them in the ground. Life was a very real thing for me. Occasionally I walked out my front door and I was set upon by bandits who I had to fight off. There was no police to call. No, that was real, the real. Our world has become unreal and is becoming more and more unreal by the second. That's what Klaus Schwab calls the Great Reset, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. The digitization of my life, such that I'm no longer a sentient child of God. I'm surveilled, I'm monitored, and I'm controlled through the device that I can't be without. Well, let me just tell you, we've traded out faith in an unseen, omnipotent power for reliance on paper written up in the basement by men that just seek to extract money from us. Wasn't that a great trade? How do you feel about that trade? Did you come out good on that one? Mammon replaced God. This is not an issue that's really political, is it? This is a personal issue for every one of us to embrace and to recognize that the choices I make in this time of choosing how I live my life affects everything around me because I'm connected to everything. If I live a moral life, if I live a life of certitude, if I live a life of faith, if I seek every day to put sin underfoot, not to be a perfect person, but to acknowledge I'm sinful and to fight against that sin, when I do that in my own life, I have the credential to speak with you. And you have the credential, if you're doing the same thing, to speak with me. So I invite you to freepeopleradio.com. Come on over to the website, check out our programming, join our locals community, follow me on Prof Penn Podcast on X. We'll see you on the morning show, Royce and I, 5 days a week, 7 to 9 a.m., Rumble at Free People Radio, and let's get together, let's change our culture, and let's restore the most important thing we could have, which is our freedom to believe in God. And that's precisely what the King seeks to remove from my life. That's precisely what they want to steal from me. And I just can't abide it. I just cannot allow a king, someone that puts their pants on the same way I do, someone that bleeds the same way I do, to rule over me. No, we're Republicans. We are sovereigns of our own lives. If, and only if, in this time of choosing, we choose to be children of God. Thanks very much. Have a great Saturday.
When it's breaking, we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel and take Go Pills to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel locked in.
Go Pills are packed with neurotransmitter support. Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
Now that's a game changer.
Mic on, lights up. Soldier Fuel keeps me dialed right in.
Both are used by the U.S. military every day.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
And they're now available to you.
This is huge.
Scan the QR codes below and order your supply today.
Hear that pop? So good.
Go to buysoldierfuel.com or search on Amazon.
This is performance fuel. Clean energy, sharp mind. That's how we do it at RAV.
Visit buygopills.com and get 15% off automatically.
Go Pills and Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and